Hey everyone, welcome to Quantum Mind Hub Stories. Remember to drop your comments, share your thoughts, and tell us what lessons you've learned in the comments section below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. This is the story of Leah Carter, a kind and hardworking ER nurse with a gentle heart. Once she worked in a busy corporate office until the day she got fired by a cold CEO named Ethan Ward. Little did she know that fate was planning a twist that would bring their lives back together. Leah's life was about to change, and what happened next would shake both of their worlds. Back in the day, Leah worked as a corporate assistant until the day Ethan Ward, the CEO, called her into his office. With a casual shrug and a few cold words, he told her, "You'll be fine without this job." He fired her during a company restructure, leaving her feeling unwanted and small. Leah didn't understand why her hard work wasn't enough. The cutthroat tone of the dismissal left a deep mark on her heart, and the memory of that day haunted her for months. It was a wound that never fully healed even as she moved on. Determined to rebuild her life, Leah decided to follow her true calling and become an ER nurse. In the hectic hallways of the hospital, she found purpose and comfort in helping others. Every day, she worked long shifts, caring for patients with a warm smile and gentle words. Her heart was open, and she gave all she had to save lives. Even when she felt lost or hurt by the past, Leah's caring nature shone through. She believed that one good deed could spark hope, and she was always ready to lend a hand, even if it meant putting her own needs aside. One rainy evening during a grueling 12-hour shift, a critical emergency arrived, a man with severe injuries from a car accident. The situation was dire. His internal bleeding left little time for doubt, and the hospital's blood supply was nearly gone. Without a second thought, Leah stepped up. "I'll donate my blood," she said softly, knowing every drop counted. She didn't pause to wonder who the man was. All she cared about was saving a life. As she rolled up her sleeve and prepared for the donation, her focus was pure and clear, driven by the simple desire to help someone in need. In the busy emergency room, conversations buzzed quietly around her act of kindness. One nurse remarked, "She always steps in when things get tough." A doctor nodded in agreement as Leah's blood was carefully matched and sent into the patient. Her gesture wasn't about recognition or thanks, it was just what she did, naturally. Even as she felt the prick of the needle, she kept thinking about her purpose in life, to help no matter what. The hum of the machines and whispered words filled the air, and in that moment, Leah's selfless act became a silent promise to herself and the man on the table. As the blood transfusion began, the hospital staff mentioned in hushed tones that the injured man was more than he seemed, a big-shot CEO in the tech world and a single dad. They talked about his 5-year-old daughter waiting anxiously for news in a small, brightly colored room. Even though Leah heard these snippets of conversation, she didn't let them cloud her judgment. For her, it was just another life hanging by a thread. She focused on the patient's vital signs and prayed silently that her donation would tip the balance between life and death. Her heart, still tender from past hurts, beat with hope for his recovery. After the hectic emergency, Leah's shift slowly came to an end. She left the ER with a mix of exhaustion and quiet satisfaction, knowing that she had done everything she could. At home, as she sat by her window nursing the faint bruise on her arm from the needle prick, her thoughts wandered. The pain on her skin was minor compared to the lingering hurt of being overlooked and cast aside by the world. Still, she held onto the belief that kindness was its own reward. That night, as she drifted into a restless sleep, she dreamt of a future where her goodness would bring light even in dark times. The next morning, Leah's best friend Maya burst into her small apartment with a warm smile and a box of pancakes. "Girl, you're amazing," Maya said with a playful wink. They sat at the kitchen table, talking about old times and the twists life throws our way. Maya's lively chatter and endless pep talks lifted Leah's spirits. Over breakfast, they laughed and joked about the little mishaps of life. Maya reminded her that even if one door closes, another always opens. In that cozy moment, amid the aroma of fresh pancakes, Leah felt her heart mend just a little bit more. Meanwhile, in another part of the hospital, the man who had received Leah's blood began his slow recovery. His name was Ethan Ward, and even though he lay in a private room, he was far from the polished image of a CEO. The effects of the accident had left him with fragile health and uncertain days ahead. As he rested, the memory of his accident mingled with thoughts of his young daughter waiting at home. No one knew that his life had been saved by a stranger's generosity that night. He was unaware that the woman who gave him her blood carried a past that would soon intertwine with his own. A few days later, on her day off, Leah visited the hospital's pediatric wing with a box of donated books. This had become a small tradition of hers, a way to bring a little joy to the little ones. In the waiting area, a bubbly girl in sparkly shoes ran up to her and said, "Hi. Are you the book lady?" Leah chuckled softly. "Yeah, that's me," she replied, feeling a warm glow inside. The girl's innocent smile and chatter lifted Leah's spirits. As she handed over the books, she felt a quiet connection to the world. A simple reminder that kindness could spread in the smallest acts. As Leah was leaving the pediatric wing, she glanced through the glass doors and saw a man sitting on a bench with a book. Next to him, a little girl clutched his hand and listened intently as he read aloud. His calm demeanor and the gentle way he talked to his daughter caught her eye. Something about that scene tugged at her heart. Even though she didn't know him at the time, a strange familiarity stirred within her. She paused for a moment, silently wondering about the man who had become part of her thoughts since that fateful night in the ER. His presence was quietly magnetic. It wasn't until later that Leah's world spun on its axis. While visiting a friend in the hospital lobby one afternoon, she caught a clear glimpse of the same man from the pediatric wing. There he was again, sitting with his daughter, laughing softly as he turned a page. In that moment, a chilling thought hit her. Wasn't he the very man she had saved with her blood? Slowly, realization dawned on her and her heart pounded hard. This man was none other than Ethan Ward, the CEO who had once fired her with a careless remark. The twist was too much to handle, and a mix of shock and betrayal flooded her mind. Leah hurried out of the lobby, her mind racing. How could fate be so cruel? The very man who had hurt her in the past was now sitting just a few feet away, benefiting from the blood she had so willingly donated. The irony stung deeply. She felt betrayed not just by the company that let her go but by the man himself who now thrived on the life-saving act she had done without a second thought. In her quiet heart, a storm of emotions brewed: anger, sadness, and a strange sense of justice. It was as if life was handing her a bitter, unexpected lesson in karma. A couple of days later, Leah received a call from the hospital front desk. Her heart skipped a beat when the voice on the other end mentioned that a man was asking for her by name. "Leah Carter?" the receptionist inquired, sounding a bit puzzled. Leah hesitated but agreed to meet. It turned out that Ethan Ward himself had come looking for her. His tone was polite yet edged with a quiet urgency. Though her gut churned with mixed feelings, she decided to hear him out. The phone call left her with more questions than answers, and she couldn't shake the feeling that their past was about to catch up with both of them. A few hours later, Leah found herself in a quiet hospital corridor where Ethan awaited. He looked different now, more subdued, almost vulnerable. "Are you the book lady?" he asked softly, referring to the kind gesture of donating books for the children. Leah nodded, keeping her distance. He thanked her warmly, saying, "Those books made my daughter smile today." The conversation was brief, but his words left an imprint. For a fleeting moment, she wondered if there was more to his apology than the simple thanks. His voice was gentle and his eyes held a trace of regret, making her question if the past could somehow be mended. During their brief chat, Ethan mentioned something that made Leah's heart race. He said, "I heard someone gave blood and saved my life that night. I wish I knew who it was." Leah stayed silent, the weight of the moment almost too heavy to bear. Her mind replayed the scene from the ER, and she felt the mix of pride and pain surge within her. Here was a man who owed his life to her gift, yet she had never sought his gratitude. The irony was almost too much to take. Both of them carried wounds from the past, a past that was now colliding in the most unexpected way. Not long after, Ethan asked Leah if she'd like to meet for coffee. "It's just a small thank you," he said, with a smile that didn't quite hide the underlying tension. Leah hesitated, feeling a mix of curiosity and apprehension. Despite her inner doubts, she agreed to the meeting, thinking it might be a chance to put things straight. At the coffee shop, the atmosphere was casual but heavy with unspoken words. They sat at a small table in a quiet corner, sipping their drinks as the conversation slowly unfolded. The air was filled with nervous energy as both tried to bridge the gap of their past. Over coffee, Ethan tried to piece together the strange puzzle of their history. "Weren't you in tech before?" he asked, leaning forward with a curious gaze. Leah smiled politely, though her heart pounded hard. "I was," she replied in a soft tone. Their conversation dipped in and out of memories from a shared past that neither spoke of openly. Ethan's questions were gentle yet probing, and Leah felt the weight of old hurts in each word. She answered simply, choosing her words with care. Every sentence carried the pain of a lost opportunity and the irony of fate's strange sense of humor. The turning point came when the conversation took a daring twist. Leah could no longer hold back the truth. With a shaky voice, she finally said, "You fired me." The words hung in the air, charged with raw emotion. Ethan's eyes widened in surprise and he fell silent for a long moment. "I didn't know it was you," he stammered, regret softening his tone. The simple admission broke the barrier of formality between them. In that small coffee shop, the past collided with the present, leaving both of them exposed and vulnerable. It was a moment neither would ever forget. As the silence stretched, Ethan tried to explain himself. "I never blamed you," he said quietly, his voice thick with emotion. "I just didn't realize what I had done until now." Leah listened, her heart torn between the sting of old wounds and the unexpected sincerity in his tone. The irony wasn't lost on her. A man who once cast her aside now stood before her, remorse clear in his eyes. It felt like a strange twist of fate that forced them to confront the past head-on. The air was filled with unspoken apologies and the bitter taste of what might have been. Ethan went on to share how the accident and his slow recovery had changed him. "You didn't just save my life," he said, his eyes searching Leah's. "You woke me up to my mistakes." His words were simple but carried a weight of genuine remorse. Leah listened intently, her anger softening slightly as she saw the change in him. The conversation shifted from past grievances to a tentative exploration of what might be possible if old wounds could start to heal. Though the pain still lingered, there was a small spark of hope, a chance for both of them to move forward in a new light. That evening, Ethan invited Leah to dinner with him and his daughter. "I'd love for you to come back with me," he said, his tone warm and inviting. The invitation was unexpected, stirring up a mix of emotions in Leah. Dinner was set at a small, quiet restaurant where soft music played in the background. As they sat down, the little girl's eyes sparkled with innocent wonder. It was a delicate scene, full of promise yet shadowed by the past. Over a shared meal, conversations flowed, and for a moment, it felt as if old grudges might finally begin to mend. At dinner, the little girl couldn't hide her excitement. Clutching Leah's hand, she said in a sweet, earnest tone, "Daddy says you're his angel." The comment made everyone smile, and even Ethan's eyes softened with genuine warmth. Leah's heart swelled with a mixture of joy and lingering hurt. The dinner table became a space where the weight of the past slowly lifted, replaced by tentative hope. As they talked about small, everyday things, favorite cartoons, silly jokes, and shared memories, the atmosphere grew less tense. For a while, the night was filled with laughter and a sense that perhaps healing was possible. In the days that followed, Ethan worked hard to prove that he was more than just the man who had once hurt Leah. He reached out, sending small gestures of kindness and apologies that felt sincere. He wanted to rebuild trust, not just with his daughter but with Leah as well. Their meetings grew more frequent, and the casual chats soon turned into deeper, meaningful conversations. Ethan admitted his faults and the pain he had caused, and though Leah's heart still bore scars, she began to see a man who was trying to make things right. It wasn't an easy road, but every step felt like a small victory over the past. As time passed, Leah started to see that her acts of kindness had not been wasted. The blood she had donated, the compassion she had shared, had made a real difference. Ethan's recovery was a living reminder of her impact, and his ongoing efforts to mend the past slowly chipped away at the anger inside her. She realized that sometimes the people who hurt us can come back and change if given a chance. Their interactions were not perfect, but they were honest. Leah found a sense of closure in knowing that her own pain had sparked a change, a reminder that even the smallest good deed can have a powerful ripple effect. In the end, the unexpected reunion between Leah and Ethan taught them both harsh but valuable lessons about forgiveness, regret, and the strength of second chances. Their story came full circle, showing that life sometimes delivers bittersweet karma. Now, as they walked down separate paths yet stayed connected by fate, Leah knew she had made a difference, not just by saving a life, but by changing a heart. So, please share your comments, your perspective, and lessons learned in the comments section below. Like the video, subscribe, and spread this story to your friends. Let this twist remind us all that even in the hardest times, a little kindness can rewrite destiny.